Hi everybody, Erik Snopko here. Now, with the synchron orchestra completed, let's learn how to smartly utilize woodwinds in a full orchestra piece from master orchestrator John Williams. Perhaps the most powerful musical ending in cinema history features the heartwarming family theme played by the woodwinds. The first time we hear it, it's performed by an English horn doubled with flute and clarinet. This combination creates a warm, melancholic sound. If the melody was played only by the English horn, it would sound reedy, but the flute helps to soften the sound. However, in that low register, it needs support from the clarinet. For this mockup, it was essential to position woodwind instruments a bit further apart on stage to get the same sound as the original recording. That turned out to be a very easy task, as the distance round mixer preset of synchron woodwinds was exactly what I needed. With a reprise of the theme, the English horn is replaced by an oboe, since the melody reaches a higher register. To retain the darker sound of the English horn, the oboe is doubled with a solo horn playing an octave lower. Later in the piece, flutes double the violins, but an octave lower. That is an uncommon orchestration choice. Usually, you'll find flutes in unison with violins or an octave higher, but it definitely works. So remember to test the rules and break them if the result sounds good to you. Hedwig's theme is performed by the oboe in a higher register, doubled with 2 flutes and a celesta. Once again, the role of the flutes is to soften the sound. They also provide more expressiveness to help out the oboe in this register. The celesta adds the magical sugar on top. After Hedwig's theme, there is a short transitional passage. Here, John Williams uses a mellow-sounding blend of clarinets and a solo horn. This transitional passage leads us back to the family theme, but now it sounds quite different from the first time, as Harry has realized that he found a family at Hogwarts. This part also sounds more grounded because of the 4 horns. The horns are doubled with 2 oboes, clarinets and glockenspiel, adding higher harmonics to the sound. The final reprise of the theme is played with a full orchestra. Here the woodwinds get a bit lost as they are overpowered by the brass. Nevertheless, if the woodwinds were missing, brass and strings would sound disconnected. Flutes double the violins, oboes and clarinets play the theme with the horns, while the bassoons reinforce the cellos. We should not forget the contrabassoon, which is often used together with the tuba to help the contrabasses cut through in a dense orchestration like this one. Speaking of cutting through, this is something a piccolo has no problem with. Notice how you can clearly hear it in this tutti passage. Now that we know what the woodwinds are doing in this piece, let's have a quick look at the other sections as well. For the strings, I decided to layer Synchron Strings Pro with Synchron Elite strings. The former provides the foundation for the sound, while Elite strings add more detail and lightness. To create a DVC sound, I loaded two Synchron player instances for each string section with DVC mixer presets, but I tweaked them so that they don't share the same microphones in order to avoid phasing issues. There is a story that when the violins players turned up to the recording session of the first Harry Potter film and saw Hedwig's theme, they were horrified and immediately started practicing the runs. To recreate this part, I used the Agile Legato, but only for the Synchron Strings Pro and one DVC instance of Synchron Elite strings. When I tried it with all violins, it almost sounded too detailed, so instead, for the three remaining Elite strings violins, I used a regular legato. Additionally, I applied different humanized delay settings for each violin's instance, and I also moved the notes of the grid a bit, as inaccuracy is part of authenticity. The brass instruments are very dynamic in this piece. In the first half of the track they play softly, supporting woodwinds or providing additional harmonic material. They gradually increase in volume up to a goosebumps-evoking fortissimo. Here I used multiple soloists from Synchron Brass to have better control over the notes, while layering the horns with an ensemble patch to give them more body. Like the woodwinds, percussion instruments are often overlooked in film music, especially when it's not drums, but it's the pitched synchron percussion that adds the magic and excitement to this piece with the help of synchron harp and the incredible Bösendorfer Imperial piano. Notice that these instruments are used very carefully, not in a cliché way. When programming percussion, it's important to set the mix right, and then you just have to use the right velocity so that they are not distracting listeners from the main idea. That's why the Synchron percussion collections are such a joy to work with, as they offer a huge dynamic range and a very useful microphone setup that can easily be accessed with many mixer presets. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have discovered some new woodwind colors to use in your own compositions. Bye!